Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert. It's the 9th of February, and I'm going to cover where the action is today. All right, now just having a look across the US dollar pairs, right? Every time I come back to the screens, I'm always looking for telltale signs of whether there's a risk-on, risk-off sentiment or the like. Now, or a bit of uniform action across the dollar. And you can see here on the dollar here, it's sort of up, down, across the board. There's no sort of clear action. What is going on is Swiss and yen are both getting hit, right? So whether there's a big unwind of some positions, but that's what we're sort of seeing at the moment. It's a little bit interesting, right? And if I just bring you across here to my other screen, you'll see here, like just on a risk on, risk off profile, there's no uniform action across the equities. We're seeing all these instruments go up, except sort of the euro, right, which is slightly down. So that doesn't make sense either. Right, they all can't go up if half of them are quoted the dollar as the base and the dollar as the terms in the quote. Well, that just doesn't make sense to me at all, and that should be a bit of a sort of a warning sign to you as you come back to the market. Now, just focusing on where today's best trading opportunities are, and just coming to the charts here, you can see the dollar's drifting, right, because we haven't had anything since the non-farm payrolls to really get things rocking. Aussie looks like it's rolled over whilst the Kiwi goes up, right? That's a mismatch. There's a lot of mismatches here. Dollar Swiss up, euro sort of sideways. Across the board, I just don't feel comfortable with the dollar involved, right? And that's not a bad thing because today we have the, if I just get my calendar up here. Okay, so we've got the data coming out today now. There are some German final numbers. They're usually pretty close to the mark. I think some of these, actually the final numbers do come out. I was just thinking the usual numbers, month-to-month stuff, comes out in Germany over the course of like 6 or 8 hours. But this is different today. Now, the unemployment figures out of Canada. This is the key number that's coming out, right? The rate will be the primary focus and the employment change. Now, this is like a mirror image of the Aussie data. Keep it a little bit like full-time employment has more weighting, right? Because it includes holiday pay, superannuation. It's a structured employment, which means long-term. So just keep an eye on that long-term number, because even if we get, say, a good or bad number, but the full-time is weird, so the big change occurs in the part-time, then that can actually have a big impact on the outcome, right? So now, to me, you got to start to look what's happening in the dollar and everything else. We have seen some weird numbers around the seasonal result, around like the holiday season, right? Christmas, holiday times. Obviously, the non-farm payrolls, a good example last week where the numbers were through the roof. That could really correct next month. And I think that's why the dollar hasn't gone too far. It's like, no one really believes it. So just keep an eye on this release. But I am seeing some interesting stuff, right? If I just come to my CAD template, like actually, let me just come over here to the dollar first. Looking at dollar CAD, right? This is the, say, hourlies and dailies. They almost look like a mirror image. It's bang smack in the middle of a big range. Very hard to sort of put your hand on your heart and say, look, I love the idea of dollar CAD going up or going down. It doesn't really fit either way because we're sitting on the fence. Now, look at the CAD crosses. I mean, Aussie CAD is already shooting to the downside. It's come a long way, right? And if I sort of shrink in the data, you'll see that this thing has actually been rocking to the downside for some time. Dollar CAD is doing the best out of the commodity currencies, which is the Aussie, Kiwi, and CAD. Now, out of all these, and just coming back to the picture here on the dollar, there's an easy trade that I could see. Okay, dollar Swiss up, dollar CAD sort of down, right? Well, makes a good trade here for CAD Swiss, right? Buy CAD Swiss. So if I go back to, let me just get rid of these markings, go back to my CAD template. And you know what? I can probably count on one hand over 35 years how often I've traded CAD Swiss, right? It's not my first go-to. So, but I was having a look, dollar Swiss going up and dollar CAD going down. It's a natural fit here for this trading opportunity. And there's no real resistance lines, right? Now, I was having a look. You can sort of draw it to here or find a point. I mean, this probably would be the one where it was initially at. And then we've seen CAD Swiss slowly or pretty quickly climbing over the last week. It hasn't gone far, but anyway, it's a funny cross, but to me, it makes sense, right? So what you need there for this trade to be sort of in play, you need stronger Canadian employment numbers, right? So when we are looking for the numbers, consensus is 5.9 unemployment rate. So anything lower than that, so previous 5.8, if you get a 5.6 print, then you're looking pretty good. Employment change, obviously a positive change as well would be beneficial. Now, just understand, I'm just following where the technicals are taking me and the data. So just keep an eye on that as we go through that number. Just understand there are a few variables here. Average hourly earnings. So if there's big variation on that, that could do something. But those that are familiar with the Aussie release, obviously these two countries being part of the old empire as such, got the same numbers, got the same structure of their economies. Just Canada's got a hell of a lot more oil. And that's the other thing, right? So if you are trading this, make sure you do keep an eye on oil, because if there's some sort of erratic move after this, and oil is going up. So if oil keeps going up, supports CAD Swiss, we get strong CAD employment numbers, it's an easy trade, right? That's my tip for the day. All right, guys, have a good weekend. All the best. Cheerio.